Yeah, so I was initially not going to talk to myself now, but I have like 10 minutes to kill to halt, so I don't have to pay for an extra hour of parking, so I'm staying with the car for now to halt to get in and out, and then in 10 minutes I'll be able to get a parking ticket, with which I'll be able to stay till like 6 AM tomorrow, theoretically, though I'll be back home by then. Drive went smoothly, though Berlin city traffic was worse than usual. I had two drivers in my proximity for quite a while, which almost caused like 2 or 3 accidents each. Like one time a scooter driver who figured, oh, I have to cut lanes, it's not filtering if you do it fast, was parallel with my rear end. He didn't even realise why I tooted my horn, but like in between my rear end and a coach, that was indicating left, so like 2 good reasons not to be there. You'd think people would want to stay alive themselves, but I guess some people just figure, oh, paragraph 1 will handle all that. I did actually spend a solid 20 minutes looking for parking. Here I have something not too pricey, fairly well located. I feel like I might just be a wee bit anxious, actually, which is like an odd feeling, but I've known this person for more than a decade now. This is like the first time I'm seeing them in person besides one short FaceTime call in the past. Had 12 smokes on the way here, which for the distance is a lot. I mean, traffic went great, but as I said, not too bad. I mean, there was one section of road works which did have like a traffic jam. Worked out though. Oddly enough, I figured, if I'm thinking, which I'm aiming not to, but if I'm thinking, oh, other cars that are too wide shouldn't be driving where they're too wide, I should probably eliminate that hypocrisy of doing it myself. Like, I don't mind double standards. I fully admit I have double and triple standards for a lot of things, but for that I might as well not. So with the roadworks, I did actually stick to the right lane as much as possible, because theoretically this car with its mirrors is roughly 229 wide, 2 meter 29. Those lanes are usually for 2 meter 1. Oddly enough, I had a similar vehicle, so same model, later type, same width though as well, from the German military drive right by, in the lane which was too narrow for the vehicle, which I found amusing, because you'd think if you're representing the state and your reg plate shows so, you'd probably actually like drive legally. Then again, some people might take it as an excuse to drive even worse. I wouldn't know, honestly. I'm probably going to stitch something else after this, because I have only very little time now, like another 5 minutes max, and I've kind of got to leave the car and buy my parking ticket. Very important. Can't be stood here without a parking ticket. And I think I'll talk to myself again, like tonight in the dark once I've arrived home, or before I leave for home, one of the two, I guess, or perhaps on the way if I need a break. Yeah, like, I was wondering, the people that regularly almost get into accidents, like, I for mine do not think I do, at least, but I think the people who do regularly almost get into accidents, or get into almost accidents, depending on how you want to see it, I'm surprised they don't realise they might not be fit for the road. I mean, I'm not in the position where I can say I'm not fit for the road, so I don't know if people actually ever reach that point. Then again, I think of myself as fairly responsible of being. So if I decided, ooh, I'm not fit for driving, I'd actually stick to it. I mean, hopefully I've got many years to go until that, but still, fingers crossed, damn gedrückt. But I don't know. I mean, my grandma, she did hand in her license after like scraping some rocks on the side of the road or so, voluntarily, because theoretically licenses don't expire. Like the certificate showing you have a license expires, but the license itself doesn't. I mean, you get those for life. Then again, here they do cost a couple, $3,000. So it'd be kind of odd if you had to do the process every 10 years. Then again, I think I'd actually be in favour of something like that, because if you are fit for the road, it wouldn't be $2 or $3,000. It'd be like a couple of $100, which, considering is official business, is not too bad. Plus, you'd know everyone who is on the road is at least somewhat fit to drive. Like every decade or so, you have to pass another test. That'd be quite a nice system, actually. Obviously, it'd come with a lot of red tape and so on for keeping one's license, but make the roads a safer place. And at the end of the day, with the environment and emissions and so on, we are aiming toward less cars. And if there was more red tape for driving cars or for keeping your license, I bet you there's plenty of people who either wouldn't even try or wouldn't pass, in which case one would actually manage to get fewer cars on the road. Another thing I've wondered about is when driving, no matter where, I mean motorway, autobahn, town traffic, rural traffic, non-urban traffic, you see so many people on their phones. Like, you'd think the plod would stick a camera in the front, one in each side window, in a car like this, which isn't too short, and then just video all the people and just send them fines or give them points on their license or something. I mean, I don't see the issue with that, because it's not like people are disguising their faces. Obviously, because of privacy and how that works here in Germany, you'd have to mark it as a camera car. But even then, the people on their phones aren't looking out for other cars, so they wouldn't even notice it's a camera car, even if it's labelled as such. And I mean, it wouldn't be steady surveillance, plus the government is allowed to do steady surveillance anyway, I believe. But it's be moving with a purpose, and you could say, oh, we spend 4 hours driving around in an 8-hour shift, and after that we spend 4 hours sorting through the footage and deleting everything that is not people on their phones or identification for them. In which case, I'm obviously not a lawyer, but I think that'd be a pretty neat idea, because in general, in my opinion, one should not operate a phone while operating heavy machinery, which motor vehicles are, because I mean, weigh several metric tons, go in the double digits of meters per second easily. Usually not triple, but still. Yeah, I mean, you'd think people are adults and they can look out for themselves, because adults are supposed to be responsible. But so many people don't seem to manage. It's just a weird concept, I guess. Might as well pick together 450, which I need for the parking ticket here. Nice thing about this vest is it have a lot of pockets. Bad thing about that is you have to look in like 2 or 3 pockets, even if you have regular places, because there's like 3 pockets overlapping. There we go, 450. Coin wallet, very posh. It's called a plastic bag, high density polyethylene. Believe it is, yeah, high density polyethylene. So basically drink bottles, like this stuff here. Though I'd be surprised if you can recycle to this, because it's like clear, which means you can't have any impurities, or very few, like parts per millions. I did a thing I think of as very German today, which is clean the car, because in the end of the day I didn't want to drive on long distance with filthy windows where you can't see much out of. I mean, I don't want to drive urban like that either, but then I just go over it with a broom or some spray and a rag. It's good enough, but for long distance I kind of wanted a nice car. Plus I want to be able to see how much dirt I'm collecting over the day, throughout the day. I mean, I'm sure the reg plate's already got quite some on it. Bugs, that is. Not bunny, just bugs. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Well, I might as well cut this here because I only need the 150 minutes now, not the 180, which saved me like $2. And in 150 minutes, this will no longer require parking tickets to park here. This feels very adult, like driving to a city a couple of 100k away to meet someone that you've known for a decade or more. Like, feels very grown up, though I don't feel grown up myself. See you later. Yeah, so the day's coming to an end. I'm back in the town I call home. Video quality is potato because light is gone, because it's night. It's like 3 past 11 p.m. Went smoothly, just about as well as expected, which was rather well, I guess. Only thing is I didn't prep by charging the watch, so I only have like 8% battery remaining, which should just about get me home, which is going to be cutting it close, but it should be enough, only just about. I'd stuck it on charge for like 20 minutes earlier today while I was drinking tea, which actually means I managed to drink tea not only today but also yesterday night. So I've actually managed to drink like proper nice sit down and tea 2 consecutive days now. I'm really happy about that. Yeah, it feels very adult, very grown up, driving a couple of 3 hours to visit someone, spend some time with someone, and then going back in the evening. Like, for me, somehow, it is a stigma German thing. Then again, I guess Americans do it as well. Whew, it's windy. When I turn around, that's not going to be fun with my hair. Oh no, real first world problems. Yeah, and I did actually not only drink tea, I also had some cheese with it. Like 3 kinds I got when I was shopping last. Got the minimum amount of each, which was approximately a bit more than 100 grams. Approximately a bit more. Way of being less precise. Whew. Today I'm going to have smoked quite some because I had 12 smokes on the way there, and I've now had 5 or 6 on the way back already. I have another 2 or 3 on the remaining way back. There was actually some people who were looking for accidents on my way out of town earlier. I think I might have already mentioned, which seems kind of nuts. I mean, I don't think they're intentionally looking for accidents, they just can't judge their fitness for driving. That is in fact why I'm here right now, taking a break from driving, because I was on the edge of not fit enough anymore to drive, which is why I'm walking around a bit, stretching my legs, getting my head off the road for now. Yeah. Driving back went even smoother than the way there. Like, the roadworks weren't an issue this way. Speed limit open because it's after 8 p.m. and E2 Autobahn, which leads to a place I was going and I'm coming from. Whence I came. That's got like 130 speed limit, but only from 6 a.m. till 8 p.m. I left at 9 p.m, so that worked out quite nicely. Apparently my friend had a major accident at the beginning of the year. Someone not only cut them off, practically rammed them over the speed limit, like 170% of the speed limit, and then rammed frontally. Fully recovered already, so glad to hear. Might as well sit down and have another smoke because I haven't had enough today, eh? This is where I am. Surprise. Figured this is a good spot for stopping off for a break on the way back. And that's suboptimal. The door won't close with me in the car because I'm too fat. There we go. Just some small decorative posts around the plants. Didn't damage nothing though, luckily. Long bloody day, but a fun one. Worth it. 8 out of 8. Would see me again. Yeah, people here are still driving ludicrous. It's not something new, but I don't think I'll ever get used to it. People like doing 20 over the speed limit in town, in an urban environment. But I guess as long as it's not enforced, they will continue. And the Rozzers seem to have better things to do than enforce speed limits, apparently. Even though going way over the speed limit and on the phone while driving, etc., do actually kill people. Which make it an odd relationship that they don't have the energy, time, resources, whatever, to enforce speed limits and or phoning while driving, or on the phone while driving. I mean, phoning with modern cars you can do legally, which doesn't mean you should, but you can. Texting while driving, for example, is not something you can do legally in any way, besides perhaps use a voice assistant, Apple's, Google's, Amazon's, whoever, to dictate a message, but then you end up with gibberish. Same as if you used autocorrect all the time to write all of your messages without actually proofreading them. Then you get the wife instead of the Wi-Fi. How does this look? Oh, light does actually make a difference, so I guess I'll leave it on. Yeah, it's been a decent day. Food was pretty decent. Like, solid. In autumnal. Which is like one of the higher standards of compliment I do tend to give. Just because in autumn means like 19 out of 20 French system. You can't get to 20 out of 20. Most teachers, to my understanding. I don't have any first-hand experience. It's just my understanding of it. Got therapy tomorrow. Looking forward to it, but I do suspect I might have an issue getting up then again. I am usually awake at that time. I just have a hard time getting out of bed, and if I got something to do, I suspect I might just manage. Trip was cheaper than expected. Paid less for food than I'd expected. Paid less to park than expected. Burnt the estimated amount of diesel, surprisingly. Well, unsurprisingly. Yeah, and I'm doing the thing with people using literally for figuratively. I'm doing that. Surprisingly, unsurprisingly, I mean, of course. That's the figurative use, I guess. That's the thing, I suppose, us Zoomers and millennials do. Because that's the logic, I guess. The generational logic. Obviously, the boundaries for the generations are kind of BS, but they just represent something people are used to, like people who grew up together. The cut-offs are BS, but you need cut-off somewhere if you want to say there is generations, otherwise it's a continuous frequency, continuous not frequency, continuous stream of people, because, as to my understanding, new people are born every day. Yeah, funny thing is, all the road signs say this here is blocked off, but looks like it was only blocked off for one day. Can't tell from here, but like a week ago or so. That's them just not taking down the signs. There's nothing saying you can't drive in here, so I guess I did, and I guess it worked. I mean, there's cars driving by both ways. Drove in on my way out of town, so I don't see why it wouldn't work now, all of a sudden. Strictly speaking, not driving across any signs that say you can't drive here. One sign would say you can only drive here if you have something to do here. Which I guess theoretically I don't. I mean, I'm here to drive through, which is not doing something here by definition. So I guess perhaps I'm abusing the signage, or abusing the openness of the signage and the lack of enforcement. I also had an odd situation with the roadworks, where theoretically I'm too wide for the left lane. And I ended up using it for the first bit on my way there, and after that I decided, nah, I want to follow the rules, be correct, square, whatever you want to call it. And so I continued in the right hand lane. And it went worse, it's a bit slower, but more chill, I guess. Yeah, it's funny how things work. I mean, a good quote, but I don't feel I'm entitled to use it, on a regular basis at least, due to my lack of the belief in the belief it's based on, is the Lord works in mysterious ways, which is the Blues Brothers. Many times, like John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. Jake Blues and Elwood Blues. But my equivalent would be the universe work in mysterious ways, and that worked just as well. I guess destiny is a belief one can hold. Karma is also. I wouldn't say I fully believe in either of those, but I also would not say I do not believe in them. I guess that's the definition of being agnostic about something. Yeah, I'm agnostic about karma and destiny. And charged before going to bed, the watch has reached 7%. Yay. Still enough to get me home, fingers crossed, downward. It's odd how the inverse square law work with acceleration and being able to go fast on roads. Because my mate, whom I'd visited today, or whom I'd met today, he drive I guess the American term would be a Volkswagen Rabbit. German is Golf. It's probably all of Europe, all of the world besides America, to be fair. GTI with like 250 horses, which is like 2.5 times this. It weighs less, it's got less drag, and still it only go a bit less than 90k quicker at top speed. That's the inverse square law working its thing. Because the drag increased by square. So the power needed is inverse square. Huh. I believe I'm right, then again I'm not a mathematician, statistician, anything like that, so I'm just bullshitting really. BSing. Heard a siren there, but it's not behind me, so I'm not concerned. I mean, in no case should I really have to worry about it, because I'm kind of parked in a parking spot. I could leave the car unattended for all I care. I'd seen some movement in the car parked two in front of me earlier. Turns out it was two people. The person with the car parked in front and the one two in front. Good for them. Ah. Yeah, I guess I'm hit the jack. Hit the jack road. Don't you come back. The Charlottes and Ray Charles, or the Raylets. I'm kind of still open about that. I could look it up, but it's not important enough for me to look it up, so I guess I don't really care. Ray Charles and his group. I guess in the case of Ray Charles, it's fair enough to presume sex and gender, so his instead of them. I mean, back then, singular they was not a thing. And I got a brake light illuminate me beautifully. Ooh. They just curbed their wheels. And it's nice alloy wheels as well. Rip. And they pulled out across 2 lanes of traffic. Some people just can't drive. Isn't it beautiful? Well, it's kind of sad, really. It's not beautiful. It's just sad. Then again, one can't change it. So one might as well accept it and perhaps even endorse it. Endorsing it might be taking it a step far, though. I'm really happy with the GPS tachometer I acquired. Like, that worked decently. The only thing is with the overflow of 2 digits going to the 3rd digit, the back 2 digits, so the 10s and the 1s, move one 7-segment display spot to the right. But I guess it does make sense because overall the number is centered more of the time that way. It's just speed limits of 100 where you do like 98, 99, 100. Well, I do 98, 99, 100. Are kind of annoying because you have to hop back and forth. But I think I'm actually going to dismount the Relict Navi, like, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Yeah. And I had 6 smokes on the way here thus far, so I'll end up with 8 total. Well, anyways, nighty. Probably doing this again tomorrow because it seems to benefit my mental health. Nighty.